Hey folks, welcome back to WebWings, a regular slice of delicious e-commerce pie. I'm Andy, and as you've probably gathered so far already, I am flying solo myself this week. Alex is busy, it is the Easter holidays, and I had got a bit of a time to myself. So we're going to dive into something that has been in my radar this week, or over last week as well, particularly after a conversation I had on LinkedIn with somebody about it. So we're going to dive into something a little bit more spicy, maybe even slightly controversial with some people, and that is the blind use of AI in content creation and online selling. Now, don't get me wrong, I love AI. It is a game changer for certain things. I use it myself, especially for coding and error checking, and you've probably used it yourself, maybe even without realizing you're already using it. But here's the thing, just because it can do something doesn't mean it should. And if we're not careful, we risk turning our brand voices, we talk about brand voice and personality all the time on here. We risk turning that voice into a bland, robotic echo of everyone else's. And if we're not careful, we lose the human touch that has built our reputation in the first place. So let's talk about some of the traps people are falling into and how to use AI without losing that unique human touch. We're going to start with a little bit of information, and then we'll look at, I've got 4 pitfalls that I want to really talk about today. So first off, some statistics as well. So over the last 12 to 18 months, AI tools have exploded. We've got ChatGPT, there's Jasper, there's Canva's Magic Write, Shopify have introduced their new AI helper. It's on iPhone, it's on Android, it's on any device you can think of pretty much, and it's being used in everything. Even when you go on to say Google and you type in a search, you'll get an AI summary before you get any results for any questions that you may have asked it. Everybody's getting involved, and why not? It saves time, it cuts costs, and it can spit out content in a matter of seconds. But that ease of use is what makes it risky. It's tempting to let AI generate everything. That's product descriptions, ad copy, blog posts, even social captions. But we're already starting to see a sea of sameness of e-commerce, across e-commerce stores and social feeds. A recent survey that I read said somewhere like around 70% of small businesses are now using AI tools for content, and that's massive. But it also means that your AI content is being generated from the same pool of information as everybody else's. So how do you then stand out? If 70% of people are using content devised by the same people, or the same AI in this case, you couldn't say 70% of businesses would use one marketing company. So how do you stand out? Well, my personal 4 biggest pitfalls that occur when relying so heavily on AI to generate everything are going to follow. So the first pitfall for me is generic and unbranded content. So let's imagine that you actually make things for sale. In this case, we're going to look at handmade candles. You'll probably get something from ChatGPT as a description along the lines of, this high quality, beautifully scented candle creates a warm and inviting atmosphere in any home. Well, that's great, but I already know that Alex is screaming at this as he listens to it and saying, where is the you in that? So imagine the same product, but written by yourself. You would say something like, we craft these candles in small batches. We use mixing my words up well today. We're using wax melted by moonlight and essential oils picked on solstice mornings. All right, that's a bit of an extreme example. But suddenly we're telling a story. We're building a vibe, and that's branding. AI can't write like you unless you prompt it extremely well, or you rewrite it yourself. And most people don't. So what you end up with is flat, generic content that doesn't connect with your customer. Section 2, or pitfall 2, misinformation and errors. So I asked AI this question myself. I asked, what is the biggest problem of using AI? And it spat out a list of things, but the bit that really sat with me was it said AI is clever, but it's also a master bullshitter. If it doesn't know something, it's going to guess and present it with confidence. That's a problem if you're writing product claims, returns policies, or anything that needs to be factual. Imagine you're selling supplements and the AI says they boost immunity and prevent illness. Now you're potentially breaching some advertising regulations and that could land you in hot water. Always, 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 always check what it writes, especially if it comes to something legal, medical, technical, or personal. We don't want content out there that the AI has gone, oh yeah, this is a definite fact, when actually it's just made it up completely. Pitfall 3, search engine optimization and algorithm penalties. Now, I'm going to coin one of Alex's phrases in this bit. I'm sure you can probably already guess which one it'll be. But search engines are catching on to what is known as low effort AI generated content. Google already say they prefer people first content. The wording, if I remember it correctly, is by a human for a human. And I think they've since changed it to say for a human. But either way, you may actually be hurting your visibility by not editing the content that you get. So if you're churning out any old AI content and not editing it, this is not going to give you the brownie points of internet wonderfulness that we talk about so often on here. Meta is also cracking down on spam-based low engagement posts, and the more of those it starts to see, the more it knows they're AI. Pitfall number 4, losing customer trust. Here's the biggest one for me, personally. It's authenticity. People can tell when something feels off. AI has a tone, and once you see or hear it enough, it's unmistakable. If your customers feel like a robot is talking to them, the trust starts to erode immediately. Especially on social media. People want to hear you. They don't want to hear your AI assistant. They know when something's not right. AI tends to overuse emojis. You can spot copy-paste jobs a mile off. People in England, for example, suddenly using a Z instead of an S in words. For example, you can also see unexpected stars around words where the AI originally wants to put it into bold, but because somebody's just copy-pasted and sent, it's actually just got stars instead. My personal favourite, though, is when it looks like a thesaurus has word vomited everywhere. AI uses words that we wouldn't use naturally in language because it doesn't understand natural language. Yes, it understands words, it understands the meaning behind the words, doesn't understand the natural language properly. So here's my take. We use AI as a co-pilot and not the pilot. AI is brilliant, but it needs supervision. Use it to help brainstorm your ideas, outline content, or clean up your grammar. Just don't skip the human layer. Add your voice, inject personality, fact check, rewrite, and make it your own. Couple of tips from me. Train your AI with your brand tone. So feed it examples, give it your history, and then use the same conversation again and again so as it keeps that history. Always read your content aloud after to see if it sounds like something you would write. It looks, when you read it in your head on the screen, it comes out totally different to if you read it out. And if it feels too smooth, it's probably too generic. Now, I haven't waffled on for long. I've only been going nearly 10 minutes. Now, I know there's so much more I could say, but I don't want to overload. So what I'm going to do is make this into a 2-part. I would love to hear your opinions on what I've said, your experiences. And in the next episode, I'll get Alex involved and we will talk a little bit more about some of the pitfalls and expand on that a little bit more as well. So, to summarize quickly, AI is powerful, but blind use is dangerous. Don't outsource your soul for convenience. Let the robot help you, but keep your hands on the wheel. Lots of different references in that, I know. Thanks for listening to this solo flight of Web Wings with me, Andy. If you've seen cringy AI content out in the wild or created something hilarious by accident, drop me a message on Facebook or by email or in any other method you can. And when it comes to our next episode, we might even discuss some of them on here. Until then, I've been Andy. This has been Web Wings. Keep it human. Take care.